it's Mrs. Cannikins back with the Cleanup Blitz, and this time in May, we are going to look at email again, and we are going to look at organizing and even permanently purging some of your email items. As we get started, a couple things to think about. I'm in Outlook on the web, and so if you're on your Chromebook, it'll look the same as mine. You might be using Outlook for desktop or Mac, and it will look a little bit different, but the principles will apply even though the buttons might be in a different place. So speaking of buttons, I'm going to come up to the three dots in the top of my toolbar, and I'm going to come down to customize, and woo, look at all of this. Now, if your toolbar looks different than mine does today, it's because I've made some customizations, or you've made some customizations along the way, and you can decide what you want to have access to on your toolbar. Now, as we organize and purge today, an easy thing to do is just click on an email and click on the garbage can to delete. But that takes a lot of work, and we have to do that all the time. So we want to talk about a few other things that we can do to keep yourself organized. Now, I am not an inbox zero kind of girl, and I'm not usually even close, but I do try to keep a little bit of organization in my email, and I'm going to give you a bunch of tips, and some of these will work for you, and you will have some other ideas. One of the first things that you might consider doing is coming up to settings. In the top, it's the cog, and you might decide if you want a focused inbox or not. And so I do like a focused inbox, although mine right now has fallen out of training. I can train it so that the messages that are most important that need my attention are in my focused box. And then I've also got kind of an other box here where other messages go that I still want to take a look at. So we're going to start by looking at some temporary items. Right here we have the thing that looks like a little label. If I click on that, that is a category. And so I can create categories or manage categories. And see, you'll see over here, I have all these little red tags, and it's called Watch This. So I put that on anything that I want to come back and watch, a webinar or a recording. And then once I've done it, I either delete it or move it somewhere else. And so you can create all of these categories. Another thing that you can do is you can flag an item. And so if we wanted to keep something, we can right click and put a little flag on it. And that means, oh, that's important. Make sure you take a look at that. And then we can also pin things. We can do this in our focused or our other box. And so a push pin, by right clicking, puts it into the top of your inbox. And so every time you look at your inbox, you have to scroll past all those. Now, I have a ton of those right now. You probably don't need that many pins, but I've just gone through there, and those are all ones that I want to keep at the top of mind. Another thing that you can do is you can snooze items. And so this is really helpful. Let's say that you get an email and you know you need to deal with it, but not yet. So instead of pinning it or flagging it, you could snooze it until it needs to come back and be dealt with. Now, this next one we're going to look at is the one that looks like a box with a little setting, and those are retention labels. And so I'm going to pick this email right here. And then I'm going to click on this one, and I'm going to say 1 week delete. And so what's going to happen there is after a week, if this email has been in my inbox, it's going to delete. And so if there's things that you know you only need for a little bit of time and you want to keep them, you can decide how long you're going to need. So now let's look at some items that are a little bit more permanent. So you've managed them with the categories and the flags and the pins, snoozing for short term, but now let's say you have some items that you really want to get rid of. And again, we could just use the delete, but we want to do better. Moving on, another item that we have is the archive. And so especially if these are items from your principal or staff members or things that you think you might need to look back later, policies, emails, what happened, who said what, you can archive it. Archive means that it is still searchable and it just kind of goes out of your inbox. But if you think you might need it again, you might want to archive that. This next one that is a shield here, if you've got something that is absolutely inappropriate or you shouldn't have it, you want to report phishing, and that should push it at least to your junk. Another one is sweep. I love sweeps. We're going to go to this Kiva email. And so now I'm going to click sweep. Now I have some choices here. So for this email, I can always move it to my inbox. I can keep the latest one and remove the rest from my inbox, keep the latest message, and the rest I want to move to deleted items. Click OK. The next thing that we can do that a lot of you use, or if you don't, you probably should, is the folders. So this one, it looks like a folder. So I'm going to click on the little down arrow. Now this one's about AI. So I'm going to move it to AI resources. And I will click on another one, right click, and you can see that I can pick any of these. I can create a new folder or move it from one folder to another there. Now, another thing we could do is create rules. And so we can right click to get to rules. We can also go to the three dots over here and go to rules. So I'm going to take this Google Meet item and I'm going to say create rule. And so now it tells me who the sender is. And I'm going to say, when I get meetings, no reply at google.com, more options to add an action. I want to delete. Would I like to change? I'm going to save. And you can see that that one went away. There we have a whole bunch of different ways that we can clean up and purge, not just for the short term, but run some rules and set some things up that last for a long time. So if you are playing along with us, you can add your screenshots today to bit.ly/myprps cleanup challenge. If not, you can use the form to enter your screenshots. Here are your screenshots today. So you're going to have some choices. The first screenshot is going to be a screenshot either of some of the sweep rules that you have. If I come over to my settings, I can go to sweep and it will show me the rules that I have here. So, I could take a screenshot of some of my sweep rules, or I can also, under the settings, come to junk mail. We talked a little bit about this last week, and you might have added some of those this week in your cleanup. I have some blocked senders and domains, or safe senders and domains. And so if I use that shield, the report phishing, it would come under the blocked pieces. So you can either do a screenshot, a sweeped, or your junk mail. So that's one screenshot. And then the second screenshot will be either to show the titles of some folders that you have or some of the categories that you have. Can we get them both to show at once? No, one or the other. So those are the two screenshots. Have fun. I hope you get to inbox 0. If you get to inbox 0, send a screenshot of that too, and I will celebrate with you.